You've seen him on Comedy Central. He's opened for the likes of Celine Dion and Keith Urban. And he's the host of the streaming TV series, A Comedian Crashes Your Pad. Get ready for some Tellico Village humor with Greg Schwem.
Thank you. Thank you, Jerry. Oh, man. Very good evening to Tellico Village. It is so exciting to be back here. I have to say, before I start, though, I just had a quick poll of the audience here. By show of hands, how many people saw me the first time I was here? Oh, okay, very nice. Thank you. Put your hands down. How many people have never seen me before? All right, good, good. And because this is an over 55 community, one more question. How many of you can't remember if you saw me the first time? Yeah, that's what I thought. Well, welcome everybody to day 2 of the Greg Schwem 2021 We're in Bed by 8:30 tour. It started, what's that, 9 o'clock? Oh, wow, that's why you're in the back, right? Yeah, good, so you can leave late. Yeah, no, this all started, you're the 4th show I've done the last 2 days. This all started yesterday at 4 o'clock. I did a show over at the premier residence of Tellico Villages and booked by one of the residents, my 84-year-old mother. Yeah, oh yeah. It was a great show. The only bad part is I got to give her 10% of the door. She says, she texted me and called me 4 times within the hour before the show. Every time my phone rang, it said, "Where are you? Are you here yet? You haven't left yet, have you? Are you coming?" I go, "Mom, it's the premier residence's independent living. How did you get in?" They're crazy over there, too. I mean, they're fun crazy over there. So, in fact, the staff was telling me about an incident that happened a few months ago. One of the male residents came up to one of the female residents, and he says, "I bet you can't guess how old I am." She goes, "I bet I can." He goes, "No, you can't." She goes, "I can, too. Unzip your fly." So he unzips, and she roots around for a few minutes, and she goes, "You're 97 years old." He goes, "Good God, woman, that's amazing. I am 97. How did you know that?" She said, "You told me yesterday." Anyway. Yeah. So, oh, this is going to be fun. So that was stuff fun. Then last night I was over at Rarity Bay. Hey, can I just ask you guys a question? What is rare about that place? You know, they rarely have power from what I understand, but that's about it. I mean, other than that, it's like, ooh, big homes on the water. Does anybody else know about this? Yeah, but then again, I'm doing 2 shows at the Tellico Village Yacht Club, and I ain't seen no yachts out there either. Seen a lot of boats that wish they were yachts. You can tell by the names they give them. See, this is why I could never own a boat, ladies and gentlemen, because I wouldn't know what to name it. Because people name their boats based on like a personality trait or, you know, how they're feeling or just something that popped into their head. That's why you see all those boats out there like, you know, Smooth Retiree and My Golden Years. If I used that logic, my boat would be called Horrible Decision. You know, hey, anybody want to go for a spin on What the Hell Were We Thinking? I don't think my marriage could handle a boat, you know? I mean, we have a lot of friends, my wife and I, that own boats, and they have great marriages, except for the 30 yards spent trying to dock the boat. Then they want to kill one another. You know, every time we go, it's the same thing. It's like, Nancy. Damn it, Nancy! You had one job! Keep the boat away from the dock. It's not that hard. Shut up, Jim. That's what I should be saying to you every time we have sex. There. The boat's docked. You happy? Who's ready for burgers? Jim's a wonderful chef. Turn it on, turn it off like that. So anyway, so now I'm here, and I'm staying here for a few more days, staying with my sister and brother-in-law. They live over there in Tequila. That's what they said. That's what I called it the first time. They go, "It's Toqua." I go, well, it looks like tequila. It's toqua. It's an old Indian phrase. It means the pickleball courts are full. You have some weird names for your developments here. Nothing like Florida, though. Florida's the worst. Florida, I don't know if you ever noticed, Florida, all the developments are named after animals that you never see in the development. I was down in Fort Myers staying with a buddy. He lived in Bobcat Landing. I was there for 5 days. No bobcat ever landed on me. Across the street, Panther Crossing. Any panther that would have crossed the street over there would have been nailed by a golf cart. I got to tell you, I get a little emotional when I say this. It is so nice to be back doing live shows. So thank you so much for showing up. No, really. I appreciate that. You have no idea, because everybody in show business, I don't care what level they were when the pandemic started, everything came to a screeching halt, and it's just so nice to hear your laughter, and it's nice to hear that you're being safe. It's interesting. People have different ways and very creative ways of being safe during the pandemic. Like, I did a show out in San Diego a few weeks ago, and they had this wristband system. So you wore a color of a wristband depending on how you felt about being around other people. For example, like if you wore a green band, no, this is true. If you wore a green band, that means you were very open to contact. Touches, kisses, hugs, late night hookups, the whole thing, okay? If you wore a yellow band, that meant you were still a little cautious, so it was like, fist bumps and elbows, that kind of thing. Red band meant 6 feet apart, no exceptions. This system works. I know it works. My wife and I have been using it for the past 25 years. But here's the problem. I keep trying to add another color, It's like, honey, it's my birthday. Wear the blue band, will you? You know the rules. We went crazy during the pandemic. I mean, it's still kind of going on, but we're coming out of it, and that's great. And everybody loves that. Well, just about everybody. There are still a few people out there that are still in what I call the fun stage of the pandemic. Remember, like the first 2 weeks, and everybody thought this was going to be fun. And there's a few people who've never left that stage, and they're just the most annoying people I've met. My next door neighbor, I cannot talk to this guy anymore, because every time, he wants us to still be in quarantine. Every time I go over to him, he goes, "Hey, Greg, check this out. Look at me. Down another 3 pounds. You know why? Because I'm not eating restaurant crap anymore, and I'm cooking at home. And I'm saving money because I canceled my gym membership, and I'm doing online virtual workouts. And I'm binge watching all my favorite documentaries on the History Channel. Did you see that 13-part series on the Byzantine era? What'd you do during quarantine?" I go, "Well, one day I ate an entire carton of Rocky Road because the title matched the mood in my house." We had great intentions during the pandemic, didn't we? We were all going to do those home projects and those improvement projects, and we didn't do any of them. I did one. I cleaned out a refrigerator in my basement, this old refrigerator. So I'm cleaning it out one Saturday. I reach way in the back. You know what I found? A juice box. My kids are 19 and 25. Do the math as to how long that thing had been in there. Here's the worst part. I drank it. I started drinking it. I had to stop. It is not easy to add vodka to a juice box. Trust me on that. I really felt sorry for during the pandemic, parents of little kids, like school-age kids, because they had to take them out of school and they had to homeschool them and virtual school them. And if you were one in that boat, God bless you, And that was another thing that probably sounded fun at first, right? There were probably a lot of parents who were like, "Oh, I've always wanted to homeschool my kids. Hey, Chloe, today we're going to learn about fractions. Go get Mommy's Pampered Chef apple slicer and that organically grown apple from Whole Foods." Okay, now Mommy's going to cut this apple into 8 pieces. If you consume 2 of them with your delicious glass of almond milk, that leaves 6 sections left. That's 6/8. That's 3/4. That's fractions. Go get War and Peace. We'll read it before bath time. Yay, Mommy, you're an awesome first grade teacher. Ha! Yeah, fast forward 6 months. What do you think those lessons were like? "Mommy, we going to learn about fractions today?" "We definitely are, Chloe." "Okay, let's see. Mommy's Chardonnay bottle is 2/3 empty. The liquor store closes in a quarter of an hour." "Mommy, is that a question?" "No, that's a statement." People People went crazy during the pandemic. We had nothing to do except watch television. I actually read this. I read that people, like expectant parents, were actually naming their children. Once they gave birth to their children, they were naming their kids after their favorite characters from their most binge-watched TV shows. I know, isn't that weird? Think about it. They were naming their children after something that became near and dear to them. I am so glad that that did not exist when I was born. You know, I would be Urban Schwem. You know, have you met my sister Marlboro? She's sitting in the front row here, so. Yeah. Well, how's everybody feeling tonight? Yes? Yes? Oh, please! You're lying to me. All of you. Nobody's feeling good. Everybody has aches and pains. We feel kind of good, but we've always got something the matter with us, right? And some of us have more than a little bit matter. Has anybody ever had that one year where just everything went to hell? And you have no idea why, right? It just went from here to here in 1 year. It's like, you know, people ask you, it's like, hey, you know, what'd you do last year? Oh, last year was great, man. You know, I went skydiving for the first time. I won the club championship. We spent 2 weeks in Maui. It was wonderful. Yeah, what'd you do this year? Yeah, well, let's see. In August, I was able to sit in a straight back chair for 10 minutes without a cushion. That was kind of nice. And it's weird. I notice you know, I'm 59 years old, so I know I don't look a day over 58, but it's true. And I notice that my ailments now are getting a little more specific. You know, like, you know, when you were in your 20s and 30s and people said what was wrong with you, it was very general. It's like, oh, I think I'm going to stop playing basketball. My knee hurts. Yeah, I'll probably stop too. My elbows hurt. And that was it. You get to your 40s and 50s, they get a little more specific, right? It's like, hey, how's your meniscus? Not bad. How's your retina? You know, is this going to continue? I'm going to be sitting on the park bench at 85 years old going, oh, my God, my cerebellum is killing me, you know? You know what feels great? My feet. My feet feel amazing because I got these new shoes. I'm not wearing them tonight because they're a little more casual. I'm wearing these Hokas. Anybody wear Hokas? Oh, aren't these shoes amazing? Aren't they great? Yeah. But here's the thing. I have a buddy who owns a New Balance store, and I've been buying shoes from him for the past 25 years, so I knew the next time I saw him it was going to be like the elephant in the room. So I just said to him when I went over to see him, I go, Alan, I hate to tell you, but I've changed from New Balance to Hokas. And he looks at them and he goes, yeah, okay. Yeah, those are good shoes. But they don't quite have the side support of New Balance. So all I'm saying is you might have trouble down the road. Down the road? I just want to be pain-free for the next 20 minutes, all right? You know, get the mail, come back. That's fine. How far down the road? You're saying I'm going to have issues when I'm 90 years old? I will take that chance. By the way, I'm not going to bore you with my ailments. I don't want you to think I'm going to just spend all night up here talking about my ailments. I am, but I'm going to spread them out a little bit. I got a lot of other things I want to talk about. Number one, Jerry probably mentioned, we are filming this show tonight, not just for my social media and so forth, but I do have a television show I want to talk about really briefly. I have a show called A Comedian Crashes Your Pad. I go around the country and I stay at Airbnbs and VRBOs, and I riff with the owners and so forth and explore the town. And people say, well, where can you find that show? It is on cable. It's a little difficult to find. You got to scroll down a little bit. Last time I checked, it was right in between World's Toughest Convents and Wild Breastfeeding Moms. Okay, so just check it out. It's a great show. I flew into town on Monday, I believe. Flew out of Midway Airport. For those of you from Chicago or ever flown out of... Yeah, so a bunch of people from Chicago. Very good. If you've ever flown out of Midway Airport, you know Midway is the only airport that is built in the middle of a residential neighborhood. Yeah, you know when a successful takeoff has occurred at Midway because you hear the pilots in the front going, yes, we cleared the swing set. I am so ready to be here. I'm so ready to move. I'm just ready to move anywhere because I live in Lamont, Illinois. It's a town about 40 minutes outside of Chicago. And I've lived there for 25 years. And the thing is, you know, that's like too long because people change. You start seeing them at different times in their life, and it gets a little weird. Like when I first moved there, my kids were really little, so I did all the dad things. I coached their Little League softball teams. Now, 15 years later, I'm seeing those same kids in bars. It is a little disconcerting when the second baseman on the Strawberry Shortcakes sends you a fireball shot and then from across the room yells, "Slam it, Coach Greg, you wuss!" Now's a great time to be down here, isn't it? Isn't it great? Because it's perfect because the weather's changing. It's still really nice in Tennessee, but it's getting really crappy in all the areas that you moved away from. Yeah. Oh, isn't that the best? This is the time of year I start getting calls from all of my friends who've moved to warm weather climates, and all of a sudden they're concerned about my well-being, and yet at the same time they want to make sure that they remind me of where they're living now. You know, I'll get calls in January. "Hey, Greg, it's Pete. Yeah. I was just reading the newspaper here. Here you got 12 inches of snow, so I just wanted to make sure you're okay. By the way, I can't talk a long time because I'm about to tee off, but yeah, just checking in on you." I'm like, "Wait, you never checked in on me when you were living 3 doors away." You know, "Yeah, I know, but I hear it's like a 30 below wind chill there." I go, "Yeah, but it's a dry cold." Here's why I don't think I could live here. I don't think I'm as nice as you people. You are, no, here's the thing. You are so nice to each other. I know this because I was on the website toomuchtimeonyourhands.com. I'm sorry, Nextdoor. And you... Yeah. I mean, and you're also nice to one another as long as you're not talking about the blue barrels out there in the middle of the water. Oh my God. Relax. I mean, how much more animosity? I might as well just go out there and spray paint Biden on half and Trump on the other and then run. But other than that, oh my gosh, you guys are, see, I couldn't do this. Let me just read you a few things off of Nextdoor here. So, okay. All right, how about this one? Which grocery stores have the least shortages, and what is the best day of the week to shop? Well, I'm not telling you. If I tell everybody the best day of the week to shop, now it's the worst day of the week to shop, isn't it? Keep that one under wraps. But you people just are so open with information. How about this one? You know, Ingalls in Lenore City has a hard time getting breakfast biscuits. I don't think you're lying on that one. You all help one another. You all look for things that you don't have. I like this one. I am looking for a good used ski rope. Spend some money. Get a new one. It's like, yeah, it could be a little frayed around the edges. I'm only towing a human around. It's got to snap sometime. Yeah, I have read enough of Nextdoor posts that I'm convinced everybody in this audience has something that needs fixing immediately. So I'm really sorry about your ice maker, your disposal, your boat motor, your aluminum siding, your back deck, your cat. I'm sorry if it all needs fixing, all right? Nobody is better than this one. I'm looking for a good sewing machine mechanic to let me repeat that. Sewing machine mechanic to tune up a 1979 Elna. What are you going to do, replace a button or race this thing? Can I bet on it? This is also from Help Wanted. I need a good plumber. Okay, that should be enough. But no, you people, again, you have too much time on your hands. You got to continue the sentence. I need a good plumber who can solve a smell problem. Well, yeah? That was you guys? That was the birthday girl. I don't know. Yeah, you got to finish that sentence. Like, I need a good plumber who can solve a smell problem and restore my reputation. Because here's the weird thing, though. I was looking at your list of groups and clubs. In Tellico Village, there's an air odor reporting group. All right, did that guy start that group, or was he the cause of starting that group? A lot of clubs. A lot of new clubs in this community. A lot of new clubs popping up since the last time I was here. So now there's a lot of people from Illinois. There's an Illinois club, right? Yes, there is. Okay, now last time I was here, is there a Naperville club? There is? Wow, aren't you full of yourselves, huh? That is so Naperville. Don't get me wrong, I love Naperville, but they're always doing something to sort of set themselves apart from the pack. Like, I read this article in the Tribune a couple of months ago. There was this contingent that came to Naperville from Cancun, Mexico, and the mayor of Naperville said, as of today, Cancun and Naperville are sister cities. I don't think so. I've been to both of them. Trust me, there ain't no bars in Naperville that will tip you upside down in a chair and mix a margarita in your mouth. Here's some new clubs. The Tellico Cruising Club. Yeah, I was a little disappointed when I found out that was boat related. That was a come down. On those notes, here's another one. Things Honey Won't Do. That's a group started by a handyman. Again, disappointed. I was looking for photos. And anybody here in the granola group of Tellico Village? Wow, I bet those are some pretty different meetings every month. What'd you talk about at the June meeting? Granola. Did you have snacks? We did. Granola. You learn so much about the community just by the clubs that are here. By the way, is weed legal in Tennessee? I know, I know it's not. There's no cannabis club of Tellico. That's the problem, yeah. There was a guy in the front row at the 2 o'clock show that goes, we do have one. Yeah. It's the guy sitting there eating Doritos out of the bag going, yeah. See, because it is legal in Illinois, and we're so nonchalant about it. I mean, it's amazing how open we are about it. You know, I mean, the way we talk about it, it's just no big deal. I mean, in 2 years, you know, marijuana has gone from being a felony drug to a stocking stuffer. Trust me, Christmas morning, there's going to be guys all over Illinois going, hey, kids, edibles, thanks. How'd you know what Dad wanted? Yeah. So, yeah, you guys are always helping one another out. I know there's a lot of good dentists here because I'm seeing this. I'm reading these. Okay, I just brought Frank home. They were wonderful. He had his teeth cleaned and only one extraction. That was followed up by, mine had 2 extractions. The bill was $563. Oh, by the way, did you know these people are talking about their dogs? You know, I don't know how your teeth are, but apparently your pets have very shiny incisors. Here's a good one. I just heard a huge explosion. Anybody know anything? We heard it too. Let's form a hearing club, shall we? Who runs to their computer? We heard it too. So you see what I'm talking about. So I don't think I could be that nice, but I'm going to be nice to you tonight. I do a nice, clean show. I hope you're an appreciative of that. I don't swear during my show. I swear all the time. Don't get me wrong. I just don't swear on stage. I'm a beer drinker. I am. You know why I drink beer? Because nobody's ever said, hey, can I buy you a wine? You never hear that, right? You drink beer, you get free liquor, don't you? You know, you're a wine drinker and say, hey, I'm going to the bar. You want something? Yeah, could you ask the bartender if they have like a 1975 dry Syrah that's a little woodsy but not too overbearing? It's like, yeah. Why don't you go order, all right? And while you're up there, I'll have a beer. Yeah. But I'm not drinking beer anymore. Now I'm gluten-free. Beer contains gluten. So yeah, I'm not another word, I don't know if anybody else is gluten-free. You know what another phrase for gluten-free is? $4 more. So I've taken gluten out of my diet. I'm all full of myself because my doctor told me I should do that. And I knew that was going to happen because that's my favorite beverage to drink is beer. So I knew that I would eventually have to give it up because you always have to give up what you love, right? You never have to give up something you hate. My doctor's never going to say to me, Greg, you have got to cut out the lima beans. You know, you want to put a loaded gun to your head? Keep eating the turnips, young man, all right? Maybe it's the Midwestern thing, because I grew up in Illinois, Wisconsin's right up there. Everybody drinks beer in Wisconsin, and I grew up drinking beer. Do we have Wisconsin people here? Oh yeah, see, I'm with you. I love the beer. So I had to cut when I was a kid, when I was like a teenager and like in my 20s. I eventually had to cut down on the beer because everybody, and you know this in the Midwest, who drinks beers, eventually you get that one beer drinking experience and you decide I got to stop. For me, I think it was the night I was at a bar and I got up to go to the bathroom and I walked into a mirror and said, "Excuse me." I did. I spent like 20 minutes trying to get around myself, you know. Finally figured out it was me. Of course, that was after I'd threatened to kick my own ass, you know. So no more beer in my diet. And I'd send my doctor, I go, I'm off of gluten. Pretty cool, hun. She goes, yeah, but now we got to talk about your Diet Coke intake. I go, what the hell's wrong with Diet Coke? There's no gluten in that. She goes, yes, but there's artificial sweetener in that. And you know, Greg, artificial sweetener contains aspartame. And did you know, Greg, that aspartame is made from rat feces? I know, I love how she put the word rat in front of it, as if just saying feces isn't enough of a deterrent. Like I'm gonna challenge her. You know, like what kind of feces can I consume? How about panda bear feces? They're kind of cute, aren't they? Anybody go on a diet during the pandemic? Anybody do that? Anybody lose? No, I knew it. Anybody? Did you lose any weight? Did you lose a few pounds? 6 pounds? That's not too bad. Yeah, that's great for us because we suck at dieting now. We are. Our society, we're horrible at it for a couple of reasons. Number one, we're lazy. We can't commit to dieting. Everybody who diets, you know what we always do? The first thing we do before we even start the diet, we establish a cheat day. How stupid is that? You're trying to quit smoking. You don't wake up one morning and go, oh my God, I thought 3-pack Sunday would never get here. Woo! Tar and nicotine, come to Papa. We can't do it. And here's the other thing we're really good at. We're really good at taking healthy foods and making them unhealthy. You know, like yogurt. Yogurt's really healthy. What do? We open a yogurt store and we go, hey, help yourself to the unlimited M&Ms down there, all right? We do that with every food. Chicken's healthy, right? But we look at it and we go, okay, chickens can't fly, can they? All right, so let's do this. Let's take the most useless part of the chicken, the wing. Let's dunk it in oil, slather it with something called butt-burning sauce, and serve it in quantities of 20. Ooh, this is still a little bland. It is? Well, that's why blue cheese dressing was invented. Pile it on. I'm trying. I am. I'm taking vitamins. I started taking vitamins now. And I walk into these vitamin stores. It's so intimidating. You can always tell who their preferred clientele is in a vitamin store because those are the products that are in the front of the store. I'm walking in, I'm seeing these jars with these just frightening sounding names like muscle mass, iron legs. Just drink it, you pussy. I pass a glass jar. Head of my latest victim. All right. You know, then there's me walking up there. Do you have any calcium fortified gummies? I'll just go in the back and get them myself, okay? I think The Rock just walked in. So I'm dieting too. And here's the thing about dieting. We never do what we're supposed to do, which is maybe I should eat less. The first thing we do when we diet, we download an app. We always think, okay, my phone is going to make me thin. I downloaded one of these calorie counting apps. Don't do it. It's a waste of time. Because you know what? They want too much information. You know, I started this the day after Christmas. I had leftovers pile high in my refrigerator. So I thought, okay, this is a good time. So I whip out the app that night. It's like, what you have for dinner, Greg? Well, I had lasagna, but that's not good enough for them. They want to know, how much did you have, Greg? Did you have a big bowl? Did you have 600 grams? Did you have a plate? I'm like, I don't know. It was in a pan. You know how much I ate? A column. Yeah. And then I was still hungry, so I had a corner. You do the math, will you please? Then the other thing we do is we purchase the latest food preparation gadget. How many people own an air fryer? Yes, or as I like to call it, an oven for people who live alone. People have no idea how an air fryer works. They're just like, well, it cooks food with air, and there's no calories in air. So that's why you lose weight, right? It's like, no, you lose weight because you can only fit one meatball in this thing. You want to eat that, or you want to wait 7 hours for dinner? You know, I bought one. I had my buddies over to watch the Super Bowl. They're like, hey, what are you making, Greg? I go, I'm making homemade potato chip. We're always buying the latest one. 2 years ago, we bought the NutriBullet. Anybody own a NutriBullet? Yeah, everybody thinks like, oh, maybe if I pulverize the food, there will be less calories. Let's try it now. I know I shouldn't eat this slice of deep dish pizza, but hey, look at that. Now it's a smoothie. Oh my goodness. Oh, you people are so fun. I want to talk to you in just a minute here because I said we got people here from all over the place. Is anybody here like a native Tennessean? Just out of curiosity. Do we have any? One yeah, I know, it's like, what a stupid question that is. We got one person back. One person, you raised your hand way in the back. You're from Tennessee, born and raised? What's that? Memphis. Okay. And you live in Memphis, and now, and how many years did you live in Memphis? 22. Okay, you do not sound like you're from Tennessee, sir. So did you have a drawl at one time, or did you just lose that when you were around all of these people, or what happened? Just trying to blend in. Here's the thing. Now, and I apologize to you for living in Tennessee, but I have noticed this. No, I mean for being raised here, but I have noticed this. Whenever we tell a story, and the story is about like a dumb person, we always adopt a Southern accent in the middle of the story. I don't know why that is. It shouldn't happen, but it does. You get a guy from Illinois going, so, I'm at the Department of Motor Vehicles, and I'm renewing my license, and I fill out the form, name, address, phone number, and I hand it to the girl at the counter, and she goes, what's your name and address? Nobody at the Illinois DMV talks like that. But that got me thinking. So anyway, if you're from Tennessee, if you're from the South, when you're telling a story about a dumb person, what accent do you use? Like you segue into an Irish brogue or something? So I'm at the Burger King, and I take my order at the drive-in there, and I say, I want a Whopper and large fries, and I pull around, and the girl in there says, here's your chocolate shake, laddie. Just sounds kind of weird, doesn't it? So now you know a little bit about me, what I do, so let's find out a little bit about you. I want to find out where you're from, why you moved to Tellico, what you do while you're here, starting with you. How about third row, second in? What's your name, sir? Dale. Where are you from, Dale? Naperville. Oh, Naperville. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hey, Dale, so far it's 1-0 in favor of me. Welcome. So, are you with the other Napervillians right there? Is this the club in that row? Okay. Hey, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to leave in the back there. Okay. See you later. Goodbye. No. All right. So you're from Naperville. How long you live down here, Dale? 3 years. Very good. What'd you do up in Naperville, sir? You were in sales. Please be more vague. All right. What did you sell, Dale? A contract. You sold electronics. Okay, I need a little more information, Dale. What kind of electronics? Was it like a remote? Was it a plug? What was it? Nurse call systems for hospitals. I would not have guessed that. All right, very good. So this was like a button, right? You sold buttons. Is that what you sold? Well, I mean, I've been in a hospital and I've had to call the nurse. I pressed the button. And when she came in, I went, Dale sells this. Do you know him? That's right. Do you need a nurse? No, I need Dale. This thing doesn't work. Is it called a nurse call system, Dale, or is that just like a layman's term for me? It's a term, nurse call system. What was the name of the company, sir? The company that made the nurse call systems. General Electric. Okay, that I've heard of. Okay, very good. Now, are you still selling this, or are you retired now? You're retired. Very good. Well, God bless you for being down here, okay? And sorry I'm busted on Naperville, but sometimes it's just too damn easy. All right. Nice to have you here. How about you in the third row with the hat? That's a very sharp hat you're wearing there, sir. What's your name? Don. You're Don. Okay. Hi, Don. Where are you from, sir? Galt, California. Where in California? Galt. Galt? Yeah. G-U-L-T? G-A-L. Where is Galt, California?
It's a great American little town, but...
Wait a minute. That's an acronym, isn't it? Great American little town. Nobody else got that, Don, except me. Wait a minute. Okay, is this a joke coming up? Again, it's a clean show. The women are women.
And the sheep are nervous.
Hey, Don. I don't even know if there's a club for you here. I'm sorry. You know. No offense, Don, but Dale, we need help for Don over there. Summon Dale. All right. How long have you lived here from Galt? 2.5 years. 2.5 years. What'd you do there in Galt, California? You were a sheep herder. Very good. I love these shows where the audience is funnier than the comic. It makes my job so much easier. You were a mechanic. What did you work on? Cooling and heating systems for a medical center. Okay, so you got something going with Dale here. You're both in the medical field. That's right. Okay. So how long did you do that for? 28 years. So that's like HVAC, right? Is that kind of what that is? You can call it that. Right. Well, you called it Great American Little Town with Sheep. But anyway, okay, so all right, nice to have you here. And let's not leave the ladies out. Let's talk to some of them. How about you? Fourth, right there. Yep, third row, right there. Yes, hi. How are you? Good. What's your name? Jackie. Where are you from, Jackie?
I'm from
Friendsville? Where is Friendsville? From here. I just asked if anybody was from Tennessee, and you said no. Are you a native Friendsvillian? You're from Naperville as well? It's like the Ville Tour 21 here. Naperville, Friendsville, sheep guy. All right. Okay, so you're living. You didn't grow up in Friendsville, did you? No. No, you didn't. Where are you from originally? Is it Naperville?
Wisconsin.
What part of Wisconsin?
Wausau.
Wausau. Okay, I'm really familiar. Okay, you got one guy that you can share a ride back to Wausau with, apparently. Okay, and what did you do up there in Wausau? That's where you grew up. What'd you do in Friendsville?
Ministry.
Your ministry. Okay, you are an ordained minister? No. You're not? What's this? Okay, is there a ministry club I don't know about that? Yes. Okay, so you're a minister now?
I am in ministry.
You're in ministry. Okay, so who do you minister to? Women. Okay. Only women. I think one of them is back there right now. So what's he going to say? You minister to women, and I'm sure it's very serious, right? And I should probably go to somebody else right about now. That's right. This is the part where my sister and brother-in-law go, we live here year-round, okay? Shut up and move on. All right, let me do one more. How about over here? I don't mean to neglect you people over here. So how about, let's see. How about you on the end there, sir? You look very serious with your name tag on. Hi, what's your name? Mike. Where are you from, Mike? Philadelphia originally. Okay, and where? That's where you grew up, and then where did you spend most of your adult life? Washington, D.C. area. Okay, and what did you do there in Washington, D.C.? Aerospace. You did aerospace? That sounds like something you do on the weekends, you know? You were in aerospace. Were you an engineer? Okay, Mike, there's no need to buzz in. You're the only one playing this round, all right? Everybody else has been electronically locked out. All right? Yeah. I'm thinking you probably were an engineer because we ain't communicating real well there, Mike. So I may have to write this one down here. Yeah. Now, what did you do in aerospace? Program manager. Now, did you work for like NASA or something like that? Department of Defense. Okay, man, I am digging a really big hole for myself right about here. I got lots of people pissed off at me right about now. So you work for the Department of Defense doing aerospace. So is there anything you can talk about? Can you share anything with me on that? What was like a typical day for you? It was all problems. All right. So that's the Department of Defense. All right, good. You traveled to Iraq twice. All right, what was that like? It was peaceful in Iraq? What? Were you in the high-end district of Iraq or something? Yeah. We were at the Ritz in Tehran, so it's very nice. Brought the wife, brought the kids. Very good. You heard Jerry say that I did a show for the CIA. That's a true story, by the way. I don't know if I told this the last time, but that is a true story because that's part of my introduction. And then people say, wow, you did a show for the CIA. Yes, I did. The CIA actually emailed me and asked if I wanted to come speak for them. And first of all, do you have any idea how close I was to sending that email directly to my spam folder? You know how you're supposed to clear out your inbox at the end of every day? So it's like 5:30. I'm like, okay, have better sex, delete. Your Libyan uncle left you $60 million, delete. Oh, the CIA would like me to come visit. This one looks legit. Gee, are there multiple attachments I can open? I hope so. So yeah, no, they said we found you on the internet, Greg, and we have this one day where we want all the employees to get away from their computer and we want to do something fun. So, they said we want you to come speak for us. So I did the show out at Langley, right? That's where CIA headquarters is out there in Virginia, right? And those of you from the D.C. area, you know how bad traffic is. So I never rent a car in D.C., but they said to me, Mr. Schwem, you don't have to drive out here. You can take a cab or an Uber. And I was going to take an Uber, but then I thought to myself, now wait a minute. Uber already knows where you're going when it picks you up. It was way more fun to run out of my hotel, leap into a cab, and go, the CIA, floor it! Every time my cab driver looked at me in the rearview mirror, I took my briefcase and I held it like this, you know. They were fun. I do a lot of shows. That's what mostly I do is shows for corporate clients. That's why I've done like the IBM and things like that. And it's fun. Everybody in the audience does the same thing, usually for a living. And sometimes, if I spend enough time with them, I start talking like they talk. Like I did a show in Vegas a couple of years ago for a bunch of jewelers. And by the third day, I was talking just like a jeweler. It was weird. I came back from dinner one night. Somebody said, Greg, how was your dinner? I said it was timeless. My cheeseburger was prepared with exquisite craftsmanship. Yeah. So anyway, and I love being back on the road because I'm a road warrior myself. I love staying in hotels in different places and so forth. Some of these hotels, though, some of these hotels have a real attitude. You ever stayed in a hotel where they check in and they tell you about the minibar and they talk about it like it's a loaded weapon? I was staying in one in Vancouver a few weeks ago, and I check in and they go, Mr. Schwem, a word about the minibar. It is motion activated. So if you move anything, if you touch anything, if you look at the cashews in a yearning manner, we're going to charge you. They weren't kidding either. I went to check out. They're like, Mr. Schwem, that'll be $25 for the M&Ms. I said, I didn't eat any M&Ms. They said, but you thought about it. Let's go to the video. Here's a fun thing to do in hotels. Next time you guys go to a hotel for either like a business conference or a wedding or any event where you're all staying in the same hotel, do this. Try and convince people you have a much better room than they do. It's really fun. It's really easy to just walk up to somebody and go, hey, have you checked in yet? Yeah, are both of your fireplaces working? Because mine works on the lower level, but the one upstairs by the pool table, I could not get that lit, and neither could the butler. The only bad part is now that I'm traveling again, I've had some changes to my body, so I always have to be like, where's the bathroom? You know, where's the closest bathroom? Because my prostate is acting up a little bit. I don't mind saying that. I'm a 59-year-old man. I think it's pretty great that I've been on stage here for about 45 minutes, and I have not uttered the word prostate until now. Because guys love to talk about our prostates, don't we? If you took a group of middle-aged guys on a golf trip and you said, okay, guys, every time somebody utters the word prostate, we all have to drink, the whole group would be hammered by 10 a.m. on the first day. I discussed my prostate with my doctor and, of course, everybody here in the audience at Tellico. And my doctor, he says to me, I've had the same doctor for 25 years. And he always asks me the same questions, the physical, in the same order. So I always know what's coming. And he always saves the big money question for the end. He always goes, Greg, how are things in the bedroom? And because I've been with him for 25 years, the answers have changed over the years. First time he asked me that, I said, glad you asked, I brought photos. Number 5 is particularly interesting. Last time he asked me that question, I said, well, we're getting free HBO. He says, Greg, I can write you a prescription for Viagra. I said, I hear Viagra is expensive. He says, I can write you a prescription for generic Viagra. Yeah, that's what I want to do. I want to go into a pharmacy. Hi, I'm cheap and horny. What do you have for me back there? He says, or I can give you another one. This works a little different than Viagra. You take it every day so you're ready all the time. Yeah, I don't know what the name of this drug is. It's called... Oh, yeah, wishful thinking. That's it. So, men love to talk about their prostates, but we hate the exam, don't we, gentlemen? We do. We hate it. So, but here's the thing. Guys, I have a treat for you. I am going to tell you right now a joke that I want you to tell to your doctor right before your prostate exam, and I guarantee you it will fluster him so much. This will be the best prostate exam. I'm doing this with one finger, by the way. You notice that? I mean, I'm getting in the mood for this joke. So this will be the best joke. He will get so flushed, it'll be the best prostate exam you ever had. So ladies, bear with me. This is just for the guys. Here we go. Okay, this guy's in the examining room waiting his prostate exam, and he's down there, and he's in the position, and the doctor walks in, and he looks at his chart, and he goes, okay, Dave, just have one request. Please try not to get an erection while the exam is being conducted. And the guy turns around and he goes, hey, doc, my name is Steve. And the guy goes, yeah, I know, I'm Dave. Anyway. I tell you, it's the best. Not the best joke. You know why guys like to talk about their prostates, ladies, is because we finally have something to bitch about. We do. Because for years, we have had to sit idly by while you guys complain, rightfully so, I want to say that, about everything. You know, pregnancy, giving birth, stretch marks, sore nipples, menopause, and we can't just leap into the conversation. What are we supposed to say? You know, well, at least you're not losing your hair. Yeah, you know, see how far that gets you, gentlemen. 2 nights on the couch at best. Yeah. I've learned over the years, man, like my wife and I went to Lamaze class when we had our first child, and this is where I learned just how low on the scale men are when it comes to these things. I found that out really soon. Like they said, what do you need to bring to Lamaze class? I said, all you need to bring is a pillow. And we got there early, and I watched all the other couples come in. It was always the guy carrying the pillow. Now, ladies, in your defense, your hands were full. You had anger in this hand and resentment in the other hand. So, you know, it's kind of hard to stick a pillow in there. So then they start, and Lamaze is the biggest joke because you pay money for them to falsely tell you that in the delivery room, ladies, this is the way it works. You have a contraction and you breathe, you expand and you contract, and your husband is right there with a stopwatch coaching you through it and timing it, which is what they should be doing, ladies, is telling you how to grab hold of your husband's testicles and expand and contract, because that's what happens. And I was going to announce this to the class, but I realized, no, I have no status in Lamaze class. Men do not. A guy could have a massive coronary in Lamaze, and all the women would look at him and go, this is not about you. Don't even think of dying on that pillow. That's for your wife. I did do one thing that I said I was never going to do during the pandemic. I diagnosed myself on the internet, and I know you're never supposed to do that, but everybody's done it, right? Because you ever get that one really weird ailment, that thing that's happened, and you run to the internet because you just want assurance that you're not the only person that this is happening to, like you're not patient zero, like the CDC's not going to go, oh no, we've never heard of that. Everybody back in lockdown. So here's what happened to me. I was getting this buzzing in my hip. It felt like a cell phone was always going off in my side, but there was no cell phone there. That's pretty weird. So I go to Google. I didn't even know what to type into Google. I'm like, well, it feels like my ass is trying to FaceTime me. Anybody else? Turns out this is pretty common. I knew because Google was like filling in the end of it. Does anybody have, buzzing in their pocket? Yeah, okay. And all of a sudden I find out that there's a lot of people that this has happened to. And this is the worst part, because then they tell you that, yes, it's happened to them too. But that's not what you want to hear. It's like anybody, my butt is trying to FaceTime me. I'm getting this buzzing and I'm getting these responses. That's happening to me as well. Who cares? That's not what I want to know. I'm bitching about me. I don't want to hear you bitching about you. Next thing you know, I'm in an online dating group for people with hip problems, which exists. It's a bunch of people, their profile picture, they're all leaning to one side. I don't care if it's happening to you. You see a guy on the street having a heart attack, you walk over and help him. You don't go over there and go, my dad had one of those. It hurts. So, anyway, well, you guys have been all sorts of fun. I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for coming out and laughing with me for an hour. This is great, because you know what? This pandemic lasted, it was over just soon enough. I thought I was going to have to get another job, and this is not something I've had to do. I've been doing this for 32 years full time, and I thought, I was like, what else can I do for a living? But there was a point in the pandemic when I was starting to send out my resume, which is a really old phrase because you don't do that anymore, right? You upload your resume to these job sharing sites, and then they analyze it, and then they send you jobs that they think align with your skill set. And I sent out enough resumes where I realized that this country is desperately in need of forklift operators to work the overnight shift. I was getting emails, Mr. Schwem, you're a comedian and a journalist? Well, I think that qualifies you to drive a piece of heavy machinery through an Amazon warehouse at 3 a.m. Can you start tonight? That's why I love doing what I do. No regrets.